Hello guys, I am Aga4 and welcome to an armor guide for ARK Survival Evolved. In this video we're going to look at how armor reacts to the 3 different types of damage in ARK, the diminishing returns on armor, and how to get the best armor in the game, along with a lot of myth busting. But as with all my guides, let's start with the basics. There are 5 types of armor currently in ARK: cloth, hide, fur, chitin and flak, along with 6 special armor pieces. The miner's helmet, which has a light, scuba mask, which helps you see clearer underwater, scuba tank, which gives you a continuous air supply, scuba leggings, which have a high amount of cold resistance, scuba flippers, which increase your swim speed but reduce your run speed, and finally saddles, which provide armor for the creature it's equipped to, but I won't be covering saddles in this video. Now before we get into the stats on individual armor pieces, I want to make it clear that none of our character's stats affect armor in any way. The fortitude stat increases our cold and heat resistance by 4.16 per point spent, and also reduces how much torpor we take, but the stats on armor do not multiply these stats, it simply adds on top of it when you equip that armor. That said, cloth armor protects you least of the 5 armor types from damage due to its low armor stat, but it's cheap to make and protects you the most against heat. Hide armor is also cheap to make, but instead protects you a moderate amount against the cold. Both of these armor types can be crafted in your inventory. Next we have the newly added fur armor, which is crafted on the smithy and costs the most of the 5 armor types, but protects you the most against the cold and comes with a high amount of durability. Chitin armor is the 4th type of armor, but while the description of chitin armor implies that chitin armor makes you warm, it makes you no warmer than hide or flak armor. So then finally we have flak armor, providing the most amount of armor by far while also having a high amount of durability. Flak armor protects you more from the cold than cloth or chitin armor. Of the special armor pieces, the miner's helmet has 20 more armor than the flak helmet, but requires more materials to craft. The scuba leggings give you 200 resistance to cold, the highest of any armor piece in the game, and the scuba tank is damaged over time as you wear it. Be aware that direct damage does not reduce the durability of the mask, tank or flippers of the scuba suit, but AOE damage or area of effect damage does. With the basics out of the way, we can get onto the juicy stuff. There are 3 types of damage in ARK. Direct damage, which is mainly caused by players attacking you with guns, bows, the pike, fists, etc. AOE damage or area of effect damage, which is caused by creatures and explosions. And finally torpor damage, which works a lot like direct damage, but increases your torpor stat instead of reducing your health stat. All of these types of damage can be reduced by wearing items that have the armor stat on them, but direct damage and torpor damage only consider the armor that is on the body parts that you are inflicting damage upon. So if you're attacking a player that has no pants but flak armor on every other body part, attacking his legs with direct damage or torpor damage will cause a lot more damage than hitting body parts that have armor on them. So having a spare armor set in your inventory to equip on the fly may just save your life. AOE damage, on the other hand, considers all of the armor that you're wearing, or the total armor stat found in your character window. Now obviously wearing items with the highest amount of armor will protect you the most from these 3 types of damage. However, according to my tests, the armor stat has a heavy case of diminishing returns, which basically means the higher your armor value, the less effective each stat point in armor becomes. So my results created a graph that looks like this. This graph displays how effective the armor stat is against the first type of damage we're going to look at, direct damage. On the left is a percentage of the damage that is reduced, and on the bottom is the armor value of that reduction in damage. So the 50 armor value found on the chitin armor reduces how much direct damage we take by roughly 87%, quite a lot, especially compared to flak, which has twice the armor value but only reduces direct damage by 7% more than chitin armor. This is the penalty of stacking too much armor. Torpor damage reacts the same way versus armor, so if I'm shot in the chest with a tranquilizer arrow while wearing a cloth shirt, I would take 20.9 initial torpor damage instead of 49.8 initial torpor damage, a reduction of 58%, quite impressive for a piece of cloth. Versus AOE damage, however, armor value isn't as significant as shown here, but AOE damage considers all of the armor that you are wearing. So just wearing flak boots, for example, which have an armor value of 100, reduces AOE damage by 50% on your entire character. AOE damage doesn't take much durability away from your armour either compared to direct damage or torpor damage. Against direct damage or torpor damage we lose 25 durability per 100 base damage. Base damage being how much damage would be inflicted without armour, whereas against AOE damage we lose 3.7 durability per 100 base damage. So direct or torpor damage ruins our armour around 8 times faster than AOE damage. Now, if some of you are in a state of confusion about all of this info, basically against creatures and explosives it's best to prioritize armor value, but against other players it's best to prioritize durability. Durability working much like a health stat for your armor pieces, so you can maintain your very beneficial armor value for as long as you possibly can. To increase the health of your armour or durability, you can find blueprints for higher tiers of armour around the map. The blueprints for armour we learned from engrams are all from the primitive tier, the lowest quality tier of items in the game. The next tier up is Ramshackle, followed by Apprentice, Journeyman, Mastercraft and Ascendant. The difference between primitive and ramshackle is huge in terms of stats and well worth the time it takes to find the blueprint, but the difference between ramshackle and apprentice isn't so great. It would appear that the higher you go up in the tiers, the less beneficial blueprints become, but the more expensive they become to craft regardless. So I'd recommend sticking with ramshackle unless you're super duper ultra rich. Supply crates are the best place to find ramshackle blueprints. White is best for finding cloth blueprints, green for hide blueprints, blue for chitin, yellow for flak, and red is the best for finding the ramshackle miner's helmet blueprint, which is better than the flak helmet. Now it is possible to find apprentice blueprints inside supply crates, but they are much harder to get. To have the best chance of finding higher tier blueprints, I would recommend going into caves and finding cave crates. These cave crates come in green, blue, yellow and red, red having the highest chance of containing a rare blueprint. To conclude this guide, armour does not protect you less the lower the durability on it becomes. Armour protects you from every hit until your durability reaches 0 and your armour breaks, including the hit that broke it. Full damage is not reduced by armour. Punching someone with gloves will not cause more damage when punching. A higher armour value does not affect how quickly durability on armour gets reduced. You can paint every piece of armour in the game, and fortitude doesn't affect the armour value, durability or any other stat on armour pieces. Thank you for watching and good luck finding those blueprints.